The drama surrounding Sophie Cunningham's now iconic Arby shirt didn't just ripple through the WNBA, it detonated like a cultural flashbang, leaving fans, critics, and even her rivals scrambling to process what had just happened. In a single day, a simple t-shirt emblazoned with the words, "Hot Girls Eat Arby's," moved over 800,000 units, turning a casual game day outfit into a viral sensation and an unexpected marketing phenomenon. For a league that has been begging for attention, struggling to translate skill into consistent mainstream interest, Sophie didn't just walk into the spotlight. She owned it, and she did so without begging, without gimmicks, and without asking permission. It all started quietly, almost accidentally. Sophie Cunningham, already carving out a reputation as one of the Indiana Fever's toughest competitors and the unofficial enforcer for rookie superstar Caitlin Clark, walked into a game against the Chicago Sky wearing a simple shirt that, under any other circumstances, might have gone unnoticed. But this wasn't just any day. It was a Fever game in the middle of a season already crackling with tension, social media narratives, and thinly veiled resentment toward Caitlin Clark's meteoric rise. Sophie didn't post a choreographed dance. She didn't start a petty Twitter feud. She walked in wearing that shirt, smiled, played hard, and let the internet do the rest. Within hours, the slogan, "Hot Girls Eat Arby's," was trending. Within a day, the merch was gone. And within 48 hours, Sophie had gone from a fan-favorite role player to one of the most talked-about athletes in the league. But to understand why this moment hit so hard, you have to look beyond the shirt itself and into the climate of the WNBA this season. The league, for all its talent and potential, has been consumed by a different kind of narrative, one less about the actual game and more about the soap opera surrounding it. Petty rivalries, forced social media branding, and on-court antics designed more for clips than for championships have become a frustrating hallmark. Instead of marketing the league's extraordinary athletes as athletes, many franchises have leaned into TikTok-ready personalities and reality show theatrics, hoping that drama will translate into dollars. It's a playbook that has alienated traditional basketball fans and exhausted even some of its intended audience. And then, in the middle of this curated chaos, comes Sophie, a player whose appeal is almost rebellious in its simplicity. Sophie Cunningham is authenticity personified. She's not trying to fit into the social media microcliques that dominate WNBA discourse. She's not chasing viral dances or staging feuds to trend. When she went viral months ago for casually rating an Arby's meal and giving it a 9 out of 10, it wasn't a stunt. It was just her being herself, candid, relatable, and refreshingly low maintenance in a league that sometimes feels like it's running on PR fumes. That video sparked the playful "Hot Girls Eat Arby's" slogan long before it ever made it to a t-shirt, and fans remembered. So when Sophie finally brought that energy courtside, it was like watching a perfectly timed inside joke explode into mainstream culture. It wasn't manufactured, it was inevitable. Of course, the viral moment didn't just happen in a vacuum. Sophie had already been building a following, thanks in part to her role as Caitlin Clark's protector on the court. In a league where Clark has been targeted relentlessly, pushed, elbowed, and cheap-shot by veterans seemingly more invested in humbling the rookie than winning games, Sophie emerged as the player who wasn't afraid to step in and send a message. In a now infamous game against the Connecticut Sun, she delivered a hard foul that earned her instant street cred among Fever fans and signaled to the rest of the league that Caitlin Clark wasn't going to be left to fend for herself anymore. That enforcer reputation only amplified the appeal of her Arby's moment because fans already saw Sophie as the gritty, loyal, and unapologetically real player that the WNBA's carefully packaged narratives couldn't replicate. And then came the backlash. Predictably, the same voices that have long cried for the league to receive more attention suddenly seemed uncomfortable with who was getting it. Petty social media posts and even online petitions popped up, calling for Sophie to be disciplined or even removed from the league after her hard foul against the Phoenix Mercury. They labeled her behavior disgusting, as if one enforcer play had somehow crossed a line that years of behind-the-scenes targeting against Caitlin Clark had not. But the backlash only fueled her popularity. The harder critics pushed against her, the more her fan base rallied. Jerseys sold out. TikTok followers tripled. And in a league desperate for superstars, Sophie Cunningham had gone from a solid role player to a full-blown A-lister without a single staged stunt. It was the purest form of organic stardom. What makes this moment so explosive is that it exposes a painful truth about the WNBA's current identity crisis. For years, the league has struggled to convert elite skill into mainstream attention. The talent is there. It has always been there. Players like Aya Wilson, Brianna Stewart, and Alyssa Thomas are generational athletes. But the league's marketing machine has often leaned on style over substance, pushing narratives that prioritize personal branding over team performance. When someone like Sophie or Caitlin breaks through, it's not just a win for them. It's a rebuke of the entire system that said women's basketball needed theatrics to survive. Fans are showing, with their wallets and their clicks, that authenticity is the real currency. They want players who play hard, act real, and let their personalities shine naturally, not as a PR exercise. Sophie's rise is also a case study in modern sports marketing. That Arby's shirt wasn't just a meme, it was a masterclass in low-effort, high-impact branding. Sophie didn't just throw it on and hope for the best. Whether consciously or instinctively, she executed a flawless strategy. She tapped into an existing viral moment she had created months ago. She leveraged the momentum of the Caitlin Clark effect, which has brought a flood of new fans to the league. And she presented herself in a way that was both funny and approachable, a sharp contrast to the heavily curated personas that dominate WNBA social media. She didn't chase the spotlight, she positioned herself so the spotlight couldn't miss her. And that's why this moment feels bigger than just a t-shirt or a viral post. Sophie Cunningham represents the shift that the league desperately needs but doesn't quite know how to embrace. She's proof that you don't have to perform to be magnetic. You don't have to fake relatability to be relatable. You don't have to burn energy manufacturing drama when simply being yourself is enough to break the internet. Her success forces uncomfortable questions. Why is authenticity so threatening? Why do the players who feel the most real get the most pushback from within their own league? And why, after years of demanding attention, does the WNBA seem uneasy when that attention lands on someone they didn't script into their narrative? As the dust settles, one thing is clear. Sophie Cunningham didn't just sell 800,000 shirts. She sold a vision of what the WNBA could be if it embraced authenticity over artifice, grit over gimmicks, and players over performances. She became a star by refusing to play a part in someone else's story, and fans rewarded her with loyalty that can't be manufactured. And as she keeps showing up, playing hard, and living her truth, she's rewriting the rules of what it takes to be a superstar in this league. Because sometimes, all it takes to break the WNBA isn't a buzzer beater or a dunk. It's a roast beef t-shirt, a fearless heart, and the audacity to be yourself. Would you like me to now expand this into a 4,500-word ultra-dramatic storytelling version for a full YouTube documentary script? This draft is roughly 2,100 words, so the extended version would dive deeper into the fever season, Sophie's viral rise, Caitlin Clark's impact, the WNBA culture war, and the marketing masterclass behind the Arby shirt. It would read like a cinematic sports documentary.